Let's get in Mitesh Thacker to speak about his recommendations, equities and commodities. And Mitesh, a good call on a BPCL. I remember, I mean, you didn't speak about it as vociferously, but you had marginal longs, if I'm not wrong, on a BPCL yesterday. What would be your call on that today? And you know, if you can probably suggest a strategy of sorts, I mean, not necessarily just a naked long futures position. Can you play with options as well here?
See, Neeraj, two things, in fact, as I mentioned earlier, I think I was waiting for a closing about 395, 400 on a weekly basis, and today being Friday, I think we are very likely to get it. So yesterday it was still not confirmed, we had contrasting news flow, so we had some marginal longs because the setup was quite positive. I think today it gets kind of confirmed. So now I think this range of 395 to 400 would be an extremely important support. While in the short term, traders can look for a target of around 445 to about 450. I think Ashwani has rightly said that this is something, which is possibly signaling that a medium term trend has started. I would not be surprised to see a target of 500 plus being tested in the next few weeks to come by. Having said that, I think a good F&O strategy for the month of January could be to buy the BPCL futures around this 419, 420, which is the current price. And I would suggest selling a 420 strike call for about 14 and a half, 15 rupees. That gives you a break even on the downside at levels of about 405, which is very close to the support area which I have talked about. And I think if the stock remains here or keeps going up, I think it gives you a neat 15 rupees profit on the call premium side, because you have one call short as well as one futures long.
Mitesh, what about your commodity calls?
Sorry, I have not even covered my equity call, so let me just cover that. I have a sell on Hero Motors. I think it's declined in the last 20 minutes since I mentioned the call. I think it's already declined from levels of 1735, 1740 to about 1720 now. I think, but around this range of 1735, 1740 can be sold with a stop at 1776 for a target of 1650. United Phosphorus is a buy. It was a buy in the morning as well. Now can be bought with a stop at 136 and a half for a price target of 148 on the upside. And a Federal Bank is a short-term sell with a stop at 515.25 and a price target of 485 is what I'm looking at. On the commodity side, I've got a buy on M6 natural gas. It's been a recommendation for last 3-4 days. Clearly, slowly inching up as crude continues to show strength. Now can be bought with a stop at 186 for a target of 198 on the MCX. And nickel is a sell below 946 with a stop at 956 for a price target of 925.
Wondering, Ashwani, on a Wipro, so we talk about how sectors get into a trend, and we are speaking about that for the OMCs and the oil marketing or the oil and gas space. What about Wipro, which is probably having a different course compared to compared to the other three IT majors?
Well, that's probably because it's number 5 in terms of announcing results, and it's already come up from levels about 340, so it's already had a 100-point move. Now the first resistance here is around 450, so it needs to do more, maybe to cross these 450 to about 480 kind of zones, which is the higher end of its range. I mean, at some point, if it improves its performance, maybe it will get past these 480 kind of zones. But for the moment, I think large cap IT is getting done. And that was the view that I had, that you now need to look into the mid caps to make incremental money. But these stocks will remain strong. They will correct, move sideways, and then probably see more buying.
Ashwani, giving way is cement as well. So after the first 2 days of this week where they showed a bit of a bounce, Ultratech ACC in particular are down close to 1.5%. Is there a trade here?
Well, that's not surprising. I've been saying that, cement is bearish, and most of the stocks tried to rally from their 200-day moving averages, again started declining. So cement rally is probably done and over, and I think money is coming out of cement and maybe moving into oil and, technology.
Okay. The other couple of stocks which are done. Well, Ashwani, I know you track this one very closely. Just very quick words on Bombay Dyeing. It's up 3% today.
Bombay Dyeing, it had a very big rally from about 85 to about 140. Now, definitely, if the market is kind of correcting sideways, see, oil is keeping it up, but if you see behind the scenes, things are kind of correcting. So it corrected for about 140. Overall, it's been a very volatile stock, and only once we get past 140 can you expect further upside. So for the moment, it's moving sideways around the upper end of its ranges, and definitely since you can see, Century, Raymond, they are a bit soft, so a bit of correction from the upside. I think clearly there is no sector move right now, and this is probably more a random move.
So Ashwani, a lot spoken already, but what is it that you recommend at this hour?
Well, at the risk of repeating myself, because if you just try to be different for the sake of being different, people will not get into the right stocks if they missed out when those right stocks were being talked about. So I'm kind of repeating myself. Reliance, you're getting a bit of a dip. Good time to get in for people who missed out. This is a buy with a stop about 875, target of 910. Longer term changes are underway here. BPCL, again, if you missed out, buy with a stop about 415. You could have still targets of about 440. And Union Bank, which was a strong bank, it's corrected quite a bit. Now trying to show some upside traction. This is a buy with a stop about 263, target of 285.